Cool. So let's go ahead, kind of where I left off. We've just been working with one file. So let's create another file. And I don't know, let's just call this like an awesome feature, like feature.rb. This is some feature that I'm working on. So, my boss tells me, hey, James, I know you're working on the calculator, but I want you to go work on a like logging app. And this is going to have like a say hello function. And, maybe like I don't know, some other like saying age function. Doesn't really matter. Let's just pretend like these are amazing features that are going to take a while for me to build. So I've created a new file, and in VS Code, I see that as a U, so that's untracked. If I went to my terminal, I do git status. That's untracked, so I could go ahead and track it. Do a git add, git commit. This is a little overkill, but it's fine. Started feature, started log feature. So now I come in here, let's say I'm like starting to work on this feature, and that's like say hello. This takes a name and end. And it puts them out like hello name. So then I can call this method, say hello. Now I'm intentionally going to like have a bug in here. Kind of just want to like pretend like this is the real world. So I'm working on this function. Let's run this. So Ruby, what did I call this? Feature.rb. Okay, so I'm getting a bug here, and let's just pretend like I don't know what it is, but I need to figure it out because I'm working on this. But then someone like my boss comes to me and be like, hey, we have a big issue with our calculator. I need you to fix it. So I go, okay, so I kind of have this file I'm working on that's in like a not finished state. So it's like, okay, well, I can kind of leave this as is. I can go to my main feature. And let's say I come in here and I fix a bug. So that comment there is like me fixing a bug. Cool, so now I'm ready to commit. But this feature.rb, this is not ready to commit because it has it's broken. So I don't want to commit this file. I just want to commit my main.rb file. So this is why we have the add functionality. So I can do a git add main.rb, and I can add my main.rb. So now that's going to be staged for change. So if I do a git status, this main.rb is ready to be committed, and my feature.rb is not. So now I can do a git commit -m, and I can say, hey, like bug and add fixed. So now that, if I do a git status, then that bug in my main.rb is fixed, and then, but this feature hasn't been committed or tracked. So I can come back here and fix this. Now I can say, hey, that's working. So then I can do a git add dot, git commit, like say hello done. Forgot my -m. Okay. There's still one more piece that we're kind of skipping here that we should go into to better illustrate this example. But does that kind of help explain add? Remember, add for me was always a little, when I first learned GitHub, I'm like, why the hell do we have to add our files?
Can you make your screen a little bigger?
Yeah, sorry.
Thank-
There you go. So let's hook this up with GitHub and kind of see like all of this in action. So everything we've done so far, minus setting up that SSH key, has just been Git. So this is a repository on your computer. So if you're working with a team, everyone's going to have their own Git repositories on their computer. So they have their own history. I mean, it's technically going to be shared once we get to GitHub, but it is kind of like it's only on your machine. But which works fine if it's just you, but what happens if your like computer blows up and you don't back up your code? Well, you've just lost everything. Or you want to like share this code with other people. This is where we need GitHub. There's other websites or other services that are equally or kind of as popular, maybe not equally, but there's GitLab and Bitbucket. Those are two other things that you might use other than GitHub, but they're pretty much the same. So GitHub's definitely probably the most popular one, yeah, by far. It actually was bought by Microsoft for like, I don't know, like $8 billion. So it's a pretty legit web application.
Are they the same commands like in Bitbucket and GitLab?
Yeah, so the Git, the GIT commands, those will be the exact same because that's Git. There will be differences with GitHub and GitLab, but for what we're talking about and what we're doing, they're going to be very similar.
Okay.
So let's go to GitHub. So go to your GitHub page. And now we're going to create a repository on GitHub. And like if you're working, so from here on out, like if you're working with a group, you're now going to have one, like if there's 4 of you on a group, you're going to have one GitHub repo and you're going to share that. But for now, let's kind of see this in action. So to do this, I'm going to come up to this plus button and click this new repository. And then for this, give it a name. I like to either call it what I named it here, like what, it doesn't have to match, but that can be a good idea to match whatever you called the directory there. So I called this Git practice. But just for like me, since I'm like a teacher, I like to like just say what cohort it is. So I generally will like go through and delete some of these. So just give it a name. And then you hit this create repository. You know, see, this even has an option like see add.gitignore. That's how common that could be. But we've already added that. So we just want to do public and create repository. Now there's going to be some options here. So it says, or create a new repository on the command line. We've actually done all this. So we want to follow this step, but really the only thing we really need to do is just copy this remote right here. And there's two options up here at the top. There's this HTTPS option and SSH option. Both of these, and they're just, you see how they're just changing this link here? Both of these will work, but what we did at the beginning of class was set up our SSH key. If you use the HTTPS option, every time, what we'll see when we push and pull, I know those terms probably don't mean anything, but every time we do that, you're going to have to enter your username and password. If you use the SSH key, you're not going to have to do that. So use the SSH key. So that's why we set that up. It's going to save us some time. So we just want to copy this get remote add origin. And then we're going to add whatever the link to our repo. So I copy that. Now, before I do this, I just want to show you, if I type get remote in my terminal, there's nothing there. If I paste that line of code there and I type get remote, oh, sorry, get remote. Did that twice. Now I have this remote called origin. So we're calling this remote because it's a remote. It's GitHub is not on my computer. It's on some server in like California somewhere or something like that. So it's a remote repository. And I've named it origin. So that's what this get remote add origin. Say, hey, add this origin, and then this is the link to it. So now I have this, now I'm linked to the remote. So this doesn't really change my Git status. So I'm on branch master, nothing to commit. So I can do a Git here. I now want to take the code from my computer and I'm going to push it up to the repo on the server. So I'm pushing it up to my remote. So I do a get push, and then I give it the name of my remote, which is origin. And we're not going to talk about branches yet, but I need to give it the branch name for now. This is just going to be master. So get push origin master. I hit enter.
Mine came back and said fatal, not a Git repository or any of the parent directories, :.git.
Yeah, so you need to make sure you're in your Git practice directory, right? So to do that, you could do like a print pwd to show you where you're at. DPL week 2, I'm in this Git practice. And if you don't have a Git repository, if you do an ls-la, you're not going to have this .git.
I also got an error. It says the authenticity of host GitHub. Then some IP address can't be established. RSA fingerprint as SHA 256.
Yeah, so
string thing.
You must have not set. So at the start when we set up our SSH key, you must have missed a step in there or something like that. Because what we did at the start was we made that SSH key on our computer and then we put it up to GitHub. So behind the scenes, GitHub is like checking that out. So did you follow? Do you think you followed along?
I did, and I'm looking at it, and then I pulled up like the settings /key, and it looks different. Do I just copy the fingerprint that I have here? Sorry, not the
Did you do that the CP command?
I did. I mean, at one point when I created the key, whatever was in that file, I copied in, but it says never used read write. So maybe I had more than one or something.
You need to
Copied.
run this. I'm going to throw this out in Slack. That pb copy command. run that in terminal. That will copy the contents of that. That's going to copy your key. And then when you go back to GitHub, go to settings, SSH. I don't know, can I edit these? I think you just need to delete it and then do a new one. So if you have one, I just delete it since it's not working.
It says key already in use when I do that one. Like the one from the thing that you just sent.
The PB copy
Yes.
that says key already in use.
Right, yeah, it says key is already in use on my my GitHub page.
Do you want to share your screen?
Sure.
And then Sean, you're going to want to do a git init and git add dot git commit with a message, and then try doing a git push origin master. Okay, yeah, so let's delete that key. Is this okay? So now go run that pb copy command. Is this where you're seeing? Okay, so now go back. Do a new key.
Yeah, cool.
Now try doing a git push origin master.
That.
Oh, hey, yeah, sorry, I forget about this. The first time you run this, you need to type yes.
Yeah.
I always forget about. You have to say yes, like YES. Sorry, I always forget about that. The first time you set up this, sorry, that was probably correct. Anyway. So
Can I share my screen when you're done with this one? Because mine's not working either.
are you seeing that where it's like cannot authenticate? What's your error?
Oh, mine says can't, let's see, failed to push some refs to origin.
But are you seeing, so can you see what's on the screen now? Like, where's the error? The
Right here.
RS cannot,
The
RS
authenticity of the host to be established.
yeah. Are you seeing that error? Or that
No.
message?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
Okay, do you want to share your screen?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Where's mine?
Okay, so if you type get remote, GIT space remote. Yeah. So you haven't hooked up that remote that we set up in GitHub. So did you create the GitHub repo?
Thought I did. I
So-
thought I was.
So go to that website. So go to your GitHub website.
Okay.
Where the repo is.
Oh, hold on. Right here, or where's the
You need to go to the page where you create when you created a new repository. You need to go. Did you create a new repository?
No.
No. Okay.
Yes, maybe. No, I don't think so.
Well, that cat for Kimmy, is that one you
Yeah,
created?
that's me.
Yes. Oh, is that your username?
Yeah.
Okay. So go to that plus button on the upper right.
Okay.
Your new repository. Give it a name.
Okay.
And then go down below and hit create repository.
Okay.
So here you're creating, and this is what you're going to do for every homework. You're going to go in, you're going to create a repository, and then, yeah, then that get remote add origin line, that's the one you need to copy and paste.
Right here.
No,
Okay.
I would do the where it says get remote add origin, and then it has that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So paste that in there. Now try, will you do a get push origin master right here?
Sorry, get push origin.
Yeah, and then space.
Oh,
So you need to do it.
sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Get push. You just forgot the master.
I'm so sorry. Okay, get set. So I forgot what?
So hit up and then space. And yeah, use it master.
So we're
Oh,
not like compromising our computers or anything by saying, are you sure you want to connect? Warning, permanently adding to the list of known hosts.
yeah.
Makes you scared.
Hit yes on that, because what it's and that's a good thing it's asking that, because it's like, yeah, are you sure you want GitHub to know that key? But yes, you do, because that's what we were like, we already gave GitHub that key, if that makes sense. We already pasted that in their website. Git push origin master found. Okay, so let's do this. I don't think this is, do a git rm or git, sorry, do a git remote, git remote space rm space origin. Okay, now go back to your GitHub URL, and click that SSH tab.
Okay,
It's like down a little, right, up a little.
here.
Yeah, click on that one.
Okay,
Now click that one.
so
Now,
copy,
yeah,
copy this.
yeah,
Okay, and put it right here.
yeah, put it in there. Hit enter. Now do the git push origin master. Do a ls-la. You have your git, do a git status. Oh, let's do no, oh, you haven't committed yet. Okay, so the issue here is you've added your files, but you haven't committed yet. So there's like, it's kind of giving us a weird
I
error.
kind of got lost on that part is maybe why, sorry.
Oh, that's fine. So do a git commit.
Okay,
Oh, not YouTube. Okay, so you did something that probably all of you are going to do at one point or another. You are now in like Vim, or is this Emacs? What? Go ahead and hit Q. Okay, so do that git commit, but you need to do -m
okay,
and then do some like quotes. And then inside of there, just put like init or yeah, init.
okay.
Hit enter. Okay, now do a git push origin master.
Good. Push forward.
Or origin master.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now type yes. Oh, there you go. So that's good. Now if you now show this to everyone, if you go to your GitHub and hit refresh. So go to that GitHub page on your browser, hit refresh.
Oh,
There's your code. It's now up on GitHub.
thank you.
Does anyone else having any issues? I think these can be, especially like this is our first time going through Git together. I think it's good to have you share your screen and kind of go through it together. I think Sean, were you having one?
No, I'm good. I can see it on GitHub. I'm sure you'll get to this, but like now how do we like say I don't need something in a certain commit, or, like trying to clean it up, or like I don't need all that stuff there.
You don't need like some code you just written.
Yeah, or like if there's multiple files in there and I don't need all of those in there, like maybe I added too many, or
Okay, yeah, I think we'll not go, that's a little more in depth to like, I'll show you how to do a simple revert from like the revert back, which is probably going to be your most common one. But I kind of want to just go more through the flow of like the git add, commit, push, that kind of stuff. But I'll show you how to like, if you're going through some changes and you want to revert some stuff, how to do that. Any other questions or issues? Nope. Cool.
are these steps listed on in Neo LMS of like, this is what you need to do each time, the git init and the commit and add, and are those listed somewhere?
Yeah,
Like adding the repository, adding the git ignore.
yeah, do you have the DPL sheets?
Yeah, I can grab that if they don't have it, and I'll paste it in Slack.
Yeah, so I can, let me share my screen and kind of show you. So, and I will say this, there is no like official way to do Git. Different companies have different strategies or different like conventions. But yeah, let me share this, and we're going to change our conventions as you get further on. So right now we're going to keep it like as simple as we can. And so let me show you what I'm talking about. So there's this, we have a little cheat sheet here for you. Some like Git references. So here's more of like some of the commands we can use. Like the git remote add origin, that's how you add an origin. This is how you remove that origin. This is about branching. I'm going to skip over that, and stashing, skip over that. But we have these git flows. So this is like your initial push. So yeah, you do a git init, git add dot git commit -n what you did. And then you do the git remote add origin, and you paste that SSH link, and then git push origin master. So this is kind of like the one time, the first initial push. Then there's going to be like, once you start, so once we have this all set up, so we've kind of just got through all of this. Then once you're set up with that, then you're going to do like, you're going to make a change. You're going to do your code, work on a feature. You're going to do a git add, commit, and then push to master. So you kind of followed. It's just really most of Git is like these 3 steps.
So the initial push is what you'll do every time for like a new homework assignment or every new project.
Yeah. And yeah, so like, let's say, and this is going to like, yeah, you'll come in, you'll create a repo, which actually this git init, like after you get into Rails, you're not even going to run this command because you're already going to have a repo there. And it's not going to hurt you if you do run this anyway. It's not like you need, like, I can come in here, I already have a Git repository. I can say git init, and it's just going to say, oh, you already have a repo. So hopefully that didn't do that. Yeah, that didn't screw up. So it doesn't really do anything. And then yeah, you need to do like this initial commit. You have to do at least one commit. We saw that with Cat. Like if you don't do one commit, you're not going to be able to push up to GitHub. So you have to do at least one commit. Then you create your repo on GitHub. You paste the SSH link and you add the remote, and then you're able to push up. So now that we have this kind of going, we can kind of just continue and like, let's just go through the steps again, just to kind of get this in our memory. So Git, and the nice thing about Git, I know it's like really, it's kind of confusing the first couple times you're using it, but you're going to be using this on every homework. So it is going to get, it just gets really repetitive and like muscle memory type stuff. So just give it like 2 or 3 weeks and it's going to become a lot more intuitive. So, but let's go back to like my calculator that I'm building. And I'll kind of show you like, here's how you would use Git in the real world, or like with your homework is, yeah, we have these, 3 other functions we need to do. So I have my add done. I'm ready to start on my minus. So I can come in here, do my def, minus 1, num2, and num1 minus num2, and then just do like a little test on that. So here's some other kind of general guidelines you want to follow. I really think it's good. You can kind of commit as much as you want, but try to get it like, I think you don't want to commit broken code unless you really kind of have to. Like you want your code to be semi-functional. It doesn't have to be like 100% complete, but you probably shouldn't commit. Like say, for instance, if I try to run this and I have like a straight up like syntax error and it's breaking my app, I should probably fix that and have it at a working state. Because then you kind of, if you keep that convention, then when you go back to commits, you kind of know they're working. Like you got some functionality done. So I'd want to get that all fixed up. And then it's also nice because it's like, okay, I'm out of working. I got like a good chunk of work done. Now I can do a git add. And so you can do it through here, the terminal. But another reason I like VS Code, this is what I did like when I was like I would always just, when I added stuff, I would actually go through file by file and see what I changed. Because the git add dot can maybe be a little dangerous. And let me show you why. Because let's say I just did the minus feature, but somehow accidentally, this happens all the time. I accidentally had another file open and I came in here and like I typed I accidentally typed something inside of here. And I run my code and it's working. I think it's working. And so if I do a git add dot, I'm going to add, and I'm not really paying attention, I'm going to add this change and then I'm going to commit it. So why I like using this feature here is I go through each file and I look at everything I've changed from the last commit. Because another thing that like you might find here as well, let's say I like came in here and just for some reason added a whole bunch of new lines. So when I'm getting ready to add, I come check here and it's like, well, this isn't going to break my code, but this is like a little sloppy. So before I add it, I could be like, oh, I want to get rid of those. And now I look at my changes. I'm like, yep, that's 100% what I did. That's what I want to add. And then I add that file. And then I come to features and it's like, whoa, wait, I didn't do that. Or I did, but I didn't mean to do that. So then I could come in here and delete this, or I can hit this undo button. So be careful using this because this is going to undo everything. So I can discard that. And now that takes that back to the last commit. So, and then I'm no longer going to add that. It's like, oh, I made a change there. I didn't mean to make that change. So that way you're it's like proofreading before you.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask. So like the changes are everything that you worked on, and then stage changes are like what you approved before you go add.
Yeah, so when I do a git commit, so now that they're staged, if I do a commit, everything that's in this staged area is going to be committed. So now this is ready to be committed. I can also do my commit message right here. I can commit through here. I can do like a added minus and then hit the check. And then now my Git's up to date. I haven't pushed this to the repo. I might not need to. I don't necessarily have to push every time I do a commit. And that's generally true. You generally don't, every time you do a commit, you don't push. You can, but you might do a commit, then do some other work, and then finally get to a spot and then push. Especially like for now, especially when you're working with a partner at the beginning, when you push to master, that's where you really want to make sure your code is not broken. You 100% do not want to push broken code up to master on GitHub unless everyone on your team is saying that's okay. But in the real world, if in production, you never want to do that, because if you push broken code up to production, then well, your app's going to break. So
So the commit is just saving versions locally, and then you have to push it to get it on, to get those, each commit that you worked to that point to GitHub.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, then yeah, and for now, I think since you like at the start, you're going to be working with the partner, you're going to be like just in constant communication. So it's not a big of a deal when you like are pushing up to master, because you're just kind of side by side with your team. It becomes more of an issue when and this will be later on, like when you work on your final project, where you're really separating tasks and someone's doing A, someone's doing B, someone's doing C. And that's where we kind of want to be careful about what we push. And we're going to have you use something called branches, where you push up, you can't even push up to master. You have to actually push up to a branch. But we'll talk about that. Don't worry about that for now. So, and going, let me just show this example too, going back to what I did, like, let's say once again, I'm working on my feature, just to kind of just really illustrate this. I'm working on my feature. I'm on this say age function. Once again, this is not done. It's, it's work in progress. So that's not done. Once again, I get like a message from like someone saying, hey, you know what, we really need the subtract function. So stop what you're doing on feature, just stop it, and then come work on your subtract feature. So I can leave this kind of unchanged. I can come to my minus feature, or my whatever, times. Do that. Come in here, test it out. That looks like it's working. Yeah, as I'm going to add this, I'm like, well, I don't want to add this feature because this is not done, but I do want to add my main.rb. So now that's staged and ready to be committed. So then I can do my git commit -m, like a times function, done. And this is where it's like, so this is committed, and this is kind of where I kind of want to show GitHub. Now when I do a git push, because maybe someone else on my team really needs that times function. So that's why they had me do it. Like, James, you really need to do that times function. Push it up on GitHub. So I do a git push origin master. And now that's up on GitHub. So let me go to this GitHub repo. I can find it. If I go to if I look at my state of GitHub, I have my main.rb. It has the times function. And if I look at my feature, it doesn't have the changes that are incomplete. So that's another reason. The stuff I've committed That's the stuff that's going to be pushed up to GitHub. If I have stuff that is, it's changed, like GitHub's telling me, or Git's telling me this has changed, but it's not staged, that's not going to get pushed up to GitHub. And that's what I'd want, because this and my feature.rb is not done. So I don't want to push that up to GitHub. Does that kind of help illustrate this? Let's do one last thing, and then I think since you're supposed to do SQL, I think we'll just call this GitHub demo good. But you'll get a lot of practice with GitHub. It's just mainly one of these things you kind of, it's like everything with coding, actually. It's like you learn it and then you really learn it by doing it. So as you're starting off, really utilize this. I think these DPL Netlify sheets are really good to kind of remind you of the commands for terminal and kind of the flow. But I want to show you one last thing. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to close all of this. I'm actually just going to quit VS Code. So I'm going to go back to my terminal. I'm going to cd back a directory ls, and I'm going to like destroy my Git practice folder. So I'm just deleting this project from my computer. Cool. So now I don't have this project, but that's fine because it's up on GitHub. So if I want to get a project, if I want to like download a project from GitHub, I'm going to clone it. So we can come here, code, I can copy this SSH link, and then I can run this command. So I'm going to run this command in the parent directory where this project's going to go. So for example, I want this to be in the exact same place it was. I'm going to run this in the week 2 directory. So I just do a git clone. Oh, and then I need to copy this SSH link. So there it is. Notice it's now the name of what it is in GitHub. So I can do a cd into git practice file 21. Can open that up in code. There is my project. One other quick little demo. Sorry, I forgot. This is another just. So there's the git clone. That's how. So let's say if you're working with a partner, one of you is going to create the repository, and then the other one can clone it down, and then you both can push up to master. You're going to have to add the user. I think Danny and Henry, remember, like I didn't go over that, how to add a user on GitHub. I'm going to skip that part, but I do just want to give you a brief demo of, like, let's say, because you're working with another partner. So let's say your partner makes a change. How do you get those changes? That's the one part we haven't talked about. So to kind of illustrate this, you would never normally do this, but I'm going to actually edit the file inside of GitHub. So let's say I'm some other developer. I'm like Bob here, making changes. Really cool stuff. This is like amazing stuff. Cool. So I can actually do a commit right here. Bob changes. So this kind of was like, did a commit, and technically it's like a push too, because now this is on master. So let's say I'm working on my code and I want to get these changes from GitHub. So Bob was coding, he pushed up to master, and now is James. I want to get this change, because obviously if I look at my code, I don't have that. So the command I'm going to use to get it is git pull. So you just have to remember these two words, push to go up to GitHub, pull to get from GitHub. And for the time being, it's going to be origin master. So it's going to be git push or pull origin master. So to get the changes, it's git pull origin master. And it's kind of saying, hey, you've got, it looks like feature change. There's some changes here. I go back to VS Code. There's the changes. So this is a lot better than like, you know, Bob slacking out some code to me and then me copying and pasting it in here. Because imagine Bob changed like 20 different files. I think if you had to like manage that via like email or copy and paste or Slack. This is why GitHub's like necessary. Like I don't see how you could really do it without it. Cool. I think that is that. Any questions? Someone was asking something in chat. I just saw that. Are they the same command? That was like, sorry, 30 minutes ago.
That was me. I'm good.
You're good? Okay. Cool. GitHub's pretty cool. Git and GitHub. I think it's almost, I feel when you hear this for the first time, it's just like a foreign like thing, because it's a lot of new foreign concepts, but does it kind of make sense, the functionality of it and like the usefulness of it? You will definitely 100% use, I mean, there's other kind of some version control software out there, but yeah, probably 100% or like 99% you will use Git. Some form of it, so. And probably GitHub as well. Cool, I'm going to stop recording.